Hey YouTube fam, it has been a while, but y'all know I don't be coming on here to make videos unless I have something interesting. And y'all forgive me for being sideways, but that's just how it's gonna be for now, because I'm actually, number one, I'm on vacation, if you can call it that. You can call it that, because I'm away, but while I'm here, I am working on my hair. Something that I started a couple of months ago, but have not gotten as much time as I have here to work on it. So yesterday I finished this part and this part at the very end here, and now I'm up to where you see now. But one of the things that I may have mentioned on here previously is my ends, and dealing with ends that too much of them were left out when my locks were established. And mainly, I think that happened this time because I did bring it up as a point when I had my consultation done, but I think people don't necessarily understand, if they have not dealt with something in particular. Now, my hair is very, very, very springy. It draws up tremendously. It is soft, but it is also very kinky as far as the pattern of the curl. And so I don't have curls, I have kinks, and they do what they do. So just an example of what I'm talking about here is this is my basic lock. This is what it looks like. That's where it hangs. And you know, from here, it probably doesn't look like much is wrong with, that much is wrong with it. It's really not horribly bad. I notice the extra frizz, which frizz in and of itself is not a problem, but the frizz that I have is caused because that hair is too loose. It's too loose because it wasn't included originally in the lock. So because of the amount of ends that I had left out when my hair was first done, if you haven't seen those videos, feel free to go back and take a look at that. But because of the amount of hair that was left out, I had to go through and twist some of them, and some of them I braided, but it was never really corrected, because obviously the pattern is going to be completely different when you're dealing with interlocking versus twisting or braiding. Braiding, as far as how compact the hair strands are, is a little more comparable, but definitely not a twist to an interlock. And so what I've been going through doing, if you see here, all of this is basically loose, and I try to open that as much as I can. And my goal is making sure that the base is still intact, so that it doesn't slip out after this point. So this is one that I've already done, and just seeing it next to this one, which hasn't been done, you can see the difference immediately. Look at that. So that's kind of what I'm going through working on. Here are other ones that have already been done, and you can see the difference with them just hanging naturally. They will shrink a little bit once they get wet, because that's the nature of hair, or at least the nature of hair that naturally shrinks. So that's what's going on. But I thought, since I was working on this, and I just happened to be in the process of taking this one out, I would go through and show you what I'm doing, what that looks like. So don't be offended if I'm not looking into the camera, because obviously I'm doing something. But I basically, now that I have that open, I'm going through, and I'm just gonna just do some basic interlocking. So let me make sure that y'all can see me, and I'm going to be looking in my mirror. This video is already 5 minutes long, which I didn't intend, but this is what's going on. So hopefully you guys can see. And so I'm just going through, going into the hair, pulling down, and then making sure that I'm maintaining that space, so that when I go through, I'm not creating a hole. And this tool that I'm using, this is not a Sisterlocs tool, but it is a Microlocs tool, mainly used for larger locks. However, it works just fine in this instance. The one that they use for Microlocs, I believe, is significantly smaller, not incredibly smaller, but good enough. It's obviously created for the job, and that's what we've got. So you can already see this is starting to close up a little bit, but my task is to get it as close to being closed as possible, so that it has contact throughout. Now the ones that I've done prior to this, like maybe a couple of months ago, I started, and this isn't easy to do without the right setup because your arms get tired, all that stuff. And so you can see it's just that one little piece. I need to make sure that I go in between there well and pull this through. And so that is the last one, and you can see that that's closed up pretty well. And so now, when next to the other ones, you can see how it looks versus this little one that hasn't been done yet. And I'm probably not going to show that part again, because I don't want this I don't want this video to be too long, but I do just want you guys to get an understanding of what I'm doing in case you encounter a similar problem and you want to try to fix it, which, if you don't understand the mechanics of it, I probably wouldn't do that. But also, I do understand that not all consultants do this or know to do this for some reason. I remember I had a similar situation back when I had Sisterlocs, and I didn't have any of these tools or anything, and I didn't go through and do anything in particular. So my locks really ended up being, because I didn't have the understanding of what it was doing or how to fix it myself, my locks ended up being a little too fat on the ends, which I didn't like, obviously, because aesthetically it's not too great. But also when it comes to styling the hair and just the uniformity of the hair and ease of styling, amongst other things, how smooth you can get your style to be and look, all those things are impacted when your ends are fat when they shouldn't be. So when I'm just going through, and you can sort of start to see that that's open there, basically everywhere that it's loose, I'm just going through and drawing that hair down so that it becomes a part of the base, or rather the end of this lock. And I'm just opening that up so that I can go through and do the same thing that I just demonstrated as soon as I have satisfactorily opened that up. And you can see the difference, and you can tell how far to go up because, number one, the resistance isn't there. It's not locking together at this point because it's just not enough contact for starters. And also, all that frizz, like I said, is there because of the fact that that hair is basically open. And I'm at 11 minutes. Sorry for that. But I do want you guys to get an idea of what I'm doing. This other tool that I'm using, which you do have to be careful with because it is small, it is kind of sharp, and it is just a crochet needle. So definitely something you want to be careful with when you're inserting it into your lock and using it to draw that hair down. So I want to hear in the comments if anybody else has had issues similar to this. Did you try to remedy that issue, or did you just leave it be? If you did remedy it, did you use a technique similar to this, or did you do something different? I would love to hear about that, and sort of see what everybody's been up to and how your hair is coming along. I'd love to hear that as well. And once again, that knot that you kind of saw that was kind of bunched up in this area, that is very easily loosing and being drawn down. And even this part, if you had a very fine-tooth comb, you could utilize that as well. The whole point is just to loosen that hair up, which, because like I said, this is essentially loose, is really not that difficult. And you don't have to rake through it or do anything like that. And if you are raking, then chances are you're in an area that is locked, and so that's going to take a little bit more. But if it's already locked, then you shouldn't have to go into that. And so there it is. That is the piece that is open. Everything else has been drawn down. So in the process of drawing this down, that has extended the lock already, because this is now containing hair that wasn't stretched into there originally. So now all I have to do is go in and close this part up. And like I said, I wasn't going to keep you on for that, but I might as well, because here we are. Because I'm also going to go through back into the end and do something as well to finish closing that up. And just step at a time, going through, bringing that hair through, making sure that we get in the middle of that hair to bring it through, and once again trying to make sure that we don't create any holes in the hair, because holes suck. And they can potentially create weak spots later, and we don't want that. We want our locks to be healthy. So we just keep going until we meet the top of that opening. Hopefully you guys are getting something out of this. If you know somebody who's dealing with an issue like this, share this video. If you're dealing with somebody who is thinking about getting locks, and they're going to their consultation or something, but they have really tightly wound hair, because my hair, when it shrinks up, and honestly so, it can look like it's not a lot of hair, and then you pull it out and it's like, didn't realize all that was in there. So that was basically the problem, because even something like this, it looks like it's not a lot, but then as you pull it out more, it stretches, and that's not even stretching as far as it can go, because that part is mostly locked in, but it stretches out a lot. So it's easy to have that hair not be to seem like it's enough, that you've gone far enough to the ends, especially doing locks like this, when most of the time they're leaving the ends out anyway. Now what I'm doing now is just going through and twisting what is basically loose hair. Not loose because it's not in the lock, but loose because it's just some extra fuzz, but those fuzzy pieces are pretty long, and I just combine it with it to tame it, and now that is what we have. So this is what they are looking like, and if I let down the next row that I'll be working on, some of them which I may have already done, you can see how big of a difference that is. Yeah, so I've got basically a whole head of this to do, and I'm not going to keep you on here. I just wanted to show you guys that so you can see what was going on. I don't know if I have any pictures in particular that I might add in here so you can see what my hair's been up to, but definitely I'll come back at a later time and put some pictures up so you guys can see what lock life has been doing. Anyway, I'm not gonna keep you. I hope you guys have been having a marvelous week, a marvelous month, or marvelous few months since the last time I may have seen you guys. And like I said, hopefully you got something out of this. So please do thumbs up, like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, share it with anybody that you think might be able to use this information, or so that they can share it with somebody who might be working on their locks, so they can see how to potentially resolve this issue if they're having that. So have a great day, guys, and God bless you. Bye.